Welcome back to tonight's Sad Reality, where today we're talking about loneliness and a game that is literally built on... Am I using the right keybinds? I literally can't remember the keybinds. Oh, this is amazing. Enter, space. Perfect. Amazing. Yeah, so a game built on everyone not really existing, but also sort of existing, but it's a universe where everyone is stuck together, and I have no idea where I want to start from, so why not here? Oh, this is where I was trying to grind up the incinerator. That's fun. It's a good place to start from. I love this game. So let's make sure the audio is not killing my voice completely. Probably a little on the loud side. Hopefully not too loud. But yeah, tonight's story is, well, curing loneliness. It's not always about being alone, because you can have plenty of people around you, like Gold Pig and Blue Thief and all these other people. You can play D&D with them. I can't pause the game, unfortunately. Oh, I can. Nice, that way it's not as loud, not blasting my ears out too. Although I think it might be a little quiet now, which that's unfortunate, I suppose. But yeah, so loneliness sucks, but not always. I think if we weren't lonely, then we wouldn't have a reason to go out and find new people or make things happen. And I think that's for the best when it does. And I'm losing a lot of HP for some reason. This isn't too hard. I think no-hitting this is gonna suck if I ever get around to it. Like maximum focus here as well. Great thing to tell a story with. Phenomenal as always. And at some point I can kind of stick up in the corner up here. Not that corner. Not this corner. And definitely not that. Amazing. I don't have it memorized. I've seen the video on YouTube though where like someone does like 7 minutes straight of that or however long it lasts, and I'm just impressed out of my mind. I have no idea how people manage that. The illness isn't always about being alone, sometimes it's about not having the right people with you or life going the right way you want it to. In fact, I'd wager there's so many people out there where sometimes it feels like we have no idea what's going on or how to sort through that, to sift through it, to find the things that actually matter. That's not to say that people don't matter. I just think each story, in some way or another, almost might be contained to its own group of people. I think sometimes we may not make a difference in one person's life, but we might make a difference in a few others. And I think that's alright. I think it's fine. I don't think everyone has to be the important person in someone's lives. If you as an influencer had to know every single one of the people that you were influencing, I imagine that's not only an impossibility, but would also be almost not even worth doing. In fact, I think knowing too many people, you start to hate people. And if I keep bringing up that I work in retail, well, I'm gonna start hating that joke even more. But yeah. It just sucks too, because we scroll endlessly and we're kind of surrounded by just life in general. Noise, people. And, also I remember no-hitting this fight, and it was sick. I doubt I'll do it again this time. I've done a few of the no-hits in this game, just not all of them. Doesn't help that I've got a little bit of input delay here because I'm recording, and not only does my computer not like it, my recording software not like it, and my parents not like that I'm making noise at 1 in the morning, but welcome to trying to make random stuff happen. Why am I getting input delay? This sucks. Maybe I just play with the arrow keys for now. It seems a little bit more reliable. My right hand too. Usually I play with the left hand. Fun fact, if there's ever a game with like ZX controls, whatever, I actually cross my hands. So I have my left hand on the arrow keys and my right hand on ZXC, all those important keys, because I always find that easier, I suppose. See, it does feel like my arrow keys are more responsive. I don't know if I was just tweaking earlier or what. I should also probably turn off particles, because that's probably going to cause a little bit of lag. I noticed there's the particles behind notes, and I don't think it always does that. Or maybe it's just this fight. Maybe I'm tweaking again. You know, like Rasta Beast, that has a lot of particles in that fight, but I doubt we'll be getting there tonight. Because this story is rather short, but speaking of loneliness, imagine the one voice in your head, Pink, just leaving, floating around what look like trees in the background. They did a fantastic job designing this game, though, with like the forest or whatever, the general ambiance. Everhood 2, Lost Soul Disorder, LSD. I don't know if they stuck with that name or not. I didn't keep up with it as much as they probably should have, but phenomenal game. All that said, you don't need hundreds of games or hundreds of friends, but sometimes just the one or two that matter. I think the interesting thing with this series, miniseries, whatever, is I'll find out which games I actually really enjoy, and the ones that I'm like, well, I don't know. Although most of these I am picking from a library of games that I have really enjoyed so far. I doubt there will be a game that I'm like, man, this game sucks. It's easy to enjoy a lot when life is so full. I love this fight, oh my gosh. This one also took me like 8 hours to no-hit, because it's still a long fight. Doesn't help when the Buddha comes out and starts rotating the screen or whatever. The bitrate's gonna love this one. Yeah, oftentimes I wonder why we go searching for so many people in life, because sometimes, if it is just those one or two, then sometimes we have those one or two, but on the flip side, sometimes finding those one or two is really hard to do. Maybe that's why we go searching, maybe that's why we're always searching, it feels like that never ends. Oh, here comes the bitrate. You know, they were designing this game, they were just like, oh yeah, let's just like throw everything on screen because it's funny. Yet another game where it's literally impossible to talk during this. Why am I doing this? Because it's supposed to, like, the game's supposed to mean something, and then I end up playing the game more than I'm talking about the thing. I guess maybe the bigger picture there is, like, life's full of distractions, you know, there's a big story to be told, and yet I'm here playing a game when I could be telling a story that matters more. I considered starting this channel with, like, literally just a blank screen, but I was like, I don't know if that would work, if that would mean anything, if what would happen with that. I hope all of this is worth something to someone, though. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe someday. Maybe just myself, who knows. To an extent, too, it's kind of proving that, hey, I can do things, and, I had a toy conversation with a friend earlier today of, like, you know, it kind of pisses us off that we don't do the things we love doing. Like, if I am a YouTuber, why don't I spend as much time recording or scripting or talking, influencing people, you know? If you're an influencer, why aren't you influencing? He's an animator, and he likes drawing, but he had a bit of an art block, and then I told him to draw something dumb, like, a month ago, and that was the only thing he'd drawn that month, but he thanked me for it, because he was like, hey, I know this is, like, a bit of a selfish ask, but, like, you helped find something for me to do, and I'm trying to rewire my head to do that part. What a phenomenal fight. But yeah, life's full of distractions, like this game, and like everything else. Flashing colors, flashing lights, big cities, big people. And, you know, yet if we do fix that, then there's nothing to really separate those of us that find the cool stuff, and life just kind of exists. Ah, look at that damage particle stuck on screen. Now I can remember that I wasn't able to no-hit this. I think it's funny how the gnomes here kind of emulate the wizards with, like, purple and the being kind of faceless. Maybe I'm reading into it a little too much. Orange is just happy to be there. That's where you literally have to just have memorized, just be like, oh yeah, don't stay on this side of the screen because it's so unreadable. Your homework better be submitted and readable. I know mine wasn't, my handwriting sucked. And still probably does. But I've worked on it a little bit, mostly just because, like, people actually need to read it when I'm writing up, like, hold requests for customers or this, that, whatever. Like, communication might be kind of important, who knows. You know, it's important. bitrate. Leave it in the comments if you know how to fix my OBS so I can make this look better. I don't have a second monitor, I can't see how this looks, whatever. Just one laptop, one guy, one voice, one microphone, and like a negative recording power. So, we'll see. Loneliness sort of fades when purpose shows up, and purpose doesn't knock necessarily. Purpose won't say like, hey, I'm gonna do something, you know. You don't, the day doesn't rule you, you rule the day, right? So, absolute truth. If we ignore the truth, no, they don't care for the truth. Nothing to worry about. I think when we do have a purpose, then we don't feel so lonely in a lot of cases. Like, making videos, you know, you're like, hey, I'm not around with anyone, but it doesn't feel as empty as just sitting there not doing anything, you know? Same thing with drawing, even just sketch, sticky notes, whatever the case is. Blue. Sad blue. I think, too, people feel the loneliness in crowds. It's just a general statement. Just kind of sad to think about. The more people there are, the more it feels like everything doesn't matter. There's a guy that walked into the store the other day, and he's not technically my manager, but like a guy he's higher status than me. We both just looked at each other. So we said hello to this guy, and just not a word back. Wasn't on his phone, nothing. We're just like, that's a zombie. That's not a real person. And yeah, it was a bit goofy. Listen, we got music again. It's not super quiet because I'm not fixing the settings. This is the highest quality YouTube content out there. Hey, Gaster. Maybe I'll do the race and then we'll call it there for the night. Yeah, you can't cure it with distraction, and I think curing loneliness, you won't ever really cure it either. But you can with commitment and finding something to do, some way to use your life or time in ways that mean something. I don't want to over throttle this. I love this game though, it's a sick game. I realize I need the music here, and sound effects maybe down a little bit. There we go. It's got such a sick theme, you know, we need that. Like that. The drift noise or whatever. It's so peak. Yeah, it definitely does mean that you have to reach out to people, and sometimes that means no one reaches back, you know? It just means, hey, be there, try to do something, and see what you're able to do. I think there's so many people, so many great people, honestly, and it literally just starts with being like, hey, I'm gonna do something with my time. And it's not for everyone, truthfully. I think a lot of people just kind of sit there and watch anime, do whatever. And I've always been like, well, if I did that, I feel like I'd be wasting my life, because I've got a lot more to live. And B, just... That's kind of weird. I don't think I owe the world anything, but I also feel like I do. Because kind of like I said in the first video, if my voice is a gift, why don't I use it? Why don't I have the conversations with people that I ought to? You know? I think that's kind of the sad part of all of it, too, is, well, we ought to do the things we can do, but sometimes we don't. Maybe that's what it means to be lonely. It's not necessarily about fixing the feeling either, it's about building a life or the life that you want that doesn't exist. Sometimes even in places where it doesn't exist. Saying, hey, I'm gonna pick up a new hobby, I'm gonna do something, and make the absolute most of it that I can. Even in times when it's really hard to do that, too. I mean, when I'm speaking to a mic kind of softly, hopefully it's all audible, at least to some degree. But it sucks, and life will suck. Life tends to do that sometimes. But, we can certainly try. If anyone does end up watching these, whatever, if you have any games you want to see, let me know. I'm always down to find new games and stuff. Other distractions to cure some type of loneliness, whatever. This racing game, mini-game's fun. Probably not racing games in general, though. Even just basic stuff. Like, there's a game I played a lot of. It's called Coloring Pixels. You literally just move your mouse around on a screen, you just color pixels in. You just pick a number, like 1, and you go over all the 1 pixels, and 2, go over the 2 pixels. Super easy, super fun, whatever. And I feel like that was something I always wanted to do, just talk about a video with something like that, where it's really easy to focus, really easy to talk about, and then just also like, generally kind of relaxing, a little bit nothing going on in the background. The only issue then is obviously it's kind of dead in the background. I think the game has music, I just probably muted it at some point. Yeah, how can I drag out a video? Because, oh, there we go, look at that. Don't need to drag it out. Yeah, so thanks for listening to tonight's sad ramblings. It has been tonight's sad reality. Hopefully it wasn't too sad, but yeah, there's a little bit of introspection for you. Hope you enjoy the rest of your night, and race on, I guess.